You've confirmed this morning a decision on the future of HS2 is going to be made within weeks rather than months. This has been ongoing for years and years and years, and it's emerged. I think the Financial Times got the scoop that it's going to cost now more than 106 billion. I reckon, I'm pretty sure I can confirm that it's going to cost more than 106 billion. It's gone up from, I think, 30 odd billion originally. You're going to announce the decision. You're waiting for more data to come in. What is that decision going to be based on? Because pretty much everybody who seems to be involved seems to have pointed out it's going to spiral out of cost. It's going to take way longer than anyone had ever predicted it would take. And it seems that an awful lot of the people who are supposed to benefit, people in the north and Midlands of this country, don't want it.
So, I mean, the previous discussion, we've just been talking about overcrowding on our railways. It's pretty obvious that part of the solution is creating more capacity. Now, you either do that on the existing tracks that run, north-south in this case, or you do it by building a new track. I'd be cautious of believing everything you read in the paper, even some for, like, the Financial Times. There's quite a lot of confusion over these numbers, not least because the project was originally priced in originally in, I think, 2013 figures, then 2015 prices, and of course you just add inflation, any project will get more expensive without doing a thing on it. So I'm a bit cautious about some of the numbers flying around, but we'll get the actual numbers very shortly on this. Essentially, what I'm weighing up, along with the Prime Minister and Chancellor, and will, as you say, be making this decision in weeks rather than months, is whether or not we can get capacity in another way. So is it the case that you could upgrade the West Coast, the East Coast, you could do other things and get the overcrowding down and make sure that we've got sufficient capacity? Or do you have to build an entirely new railway? And that's really the fundamental.
We talked to a former deputy chairman of the latest review into this and saying that actually the high-spec nature of the line, it doesn't need to be as high-spec, way higher than other high-speed rail lines across much of Western Europe. But also, again, lots of the ways of improving capacity are actually much less sexy. They're not a big infrastructure project. They're lengthening platforms and the like, and just using electrified rail lines, which are all, railways, carriages, which are already in existence, which just aren't being used. We could spend a fraction of taxpayers' money from the 106 billion. We could spend a fraction of that and really improve rail links, particularly east and west in the north and the Midlands of this country. This is what people are crying out for. They're crying out for HS2.
Yeah. So look, we have to wait till we come to the conclusion, because you may well be right. Having said that, it's not an either or, in as much as we're spending £48 billion completely separately to HS2, completely separate to Northern Powerhouse Rail or any of these other projects, just on, if you like, day-to-day improvements in this 5-year period. So there's massive amounts of money going into things like lengthening platforms and digital signalling and all of that kind of stuff. In any case, we've then got some big projects. Northern Powerhouse Rail, which we're definitely doing. We're going to build that line from Manchester to Leeds, and many other of those northern cities, 6 or 8 northern cities, to be joined up through Northern Powerhouse Rail. We've then got decisions, as you rightly say, on things like HS2 and how best to connect this country in a way that works. But, these are big decisions for the country. I would say that this is the biggest infrastructure decision that the United Kingdom has ever taken outside of wartime. And so, quite rightly, we want to get that decision right, and people would expect us to.